No more Al Davis, but we're talking about the Raiders. They're actually exciting now. They used to be the most boring fantasy offense to talk about, even though Doug Martin was kind of a value. But now we got Antonio Brown. We've got Tyrell Williams. Derek Carr might be worth something now. What the hell? Where do we go from here? Is this going to be the real deal? Is this a top 10 fantasy offense or what?
No.
Fantasy underdogs!
Antonio Brown, yes.
End segment.
Yeah. Antonio Brown, definitely the talent. Is he going to produce? Yes. I mean, people talking about Antonio Brown having a down year last year. Look at his numbers. He had 15 touchdowns. He still had, 1,300
Wish I could have
yards?
a down year like that.
Yeah.
I think he was ranked number 3.
What a down year. Ranked 3. I get it.
Yeah.
Well, it was like, I think his catch or his yards per reception went down like 2 yards or something. Everyone points to that.
Yeah. The argument I heard was he was so inconsistent.
And
wide receiver. He's not going to put up 100 yards every week like Adam Thielen did for the first 10 weeks.
Yeah, he's
and when you're talking about Antonio Brown, the big thing here is the value they got him for. I think that was great. Mm-hmm. I mean, they traded Amari Cooper, got a first-round pick from the Cowboys.
Yeah, compared to the OBJ trade, they got a steal.
Yeah. Well, the difference is age. You got to think, hey, Antonio Brown's now over 30. OBJ was only 26 years old.
Yeah.
But they got a really good deal, Antonio Brown. Is he going to produce? Yes. But your question about is the overall offense going to be top 10 fantasy? I would say no. I think there's questions still with Derek Carr. Who's their running back?
That's big. I mean, Doug Martin's a free agent, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he is.
Marshawn's a free agent.
But, I mean, say they have 3 first-round picks, right? They have 3 first-round picks. What if they spent one of those on a top running back? Like, would that change the complexion quite a bit, I would think?
Probably. But you probably have to draft 2, because I don't think any of these running backs out the gate are going to be able to carry a load of like 300 carries. So I would probably bring back Marshawn, draft a guy, you can mold him.
Last time we saw Marshawn, he was trying to smoke a blunt at the stadium.
Yeah, well,
at the stadium.
Gruden likes him. So you never know. I mean, he could probably come cheap. But yeah, going back to the Antonio Brown, I mean, think about it. They traded Amari Cooper, a 3rd and a 5th for a first rounder and Antonio Brown. I mean, you do that, you tell anyone that they're going to sign up for that any day of the week.
Never put that way. That's not Gruden. Not bad.
Yeah, right.
That's
everyone bashing the Raiders front office. Maybe they are doing the right thing.
I mean, they got Mike Mayock too.
Yeah,
he's the guy that we trusted with all of our draft knowledge for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
And they got killed last year when they traded Khalil Mack, but honestly, is it really looking that bad depending on what they draft here?
They weren't going to resign him. He wasn't going to stay there anyway, and they weren't winning now. Yeah. Let him. They honestly did him a favor, and they got a great return for it.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is pretty good so far. I mean, it all depends on who they draft, let's be real. If they get impact players, then definitely it's been a great deal. And Antonio Brown, I think, they need to fill the seats, right? Do they even have I think they just signed a lease for a stadium,
Well, they just said that they're definitely back in Oakland this year.
Yeah.
They weren't exactly sure.
They
weren't
to sell
sure till a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be tough for a franchise. They're like, well, we gotta sell you on something here. We can't be that terrible.
So I mean, bringing in Antonio Brown, bringing in Tyrell Williams, I think those will make for an interesting offense. I don't know how exciting. As far as fantasy value goes, I believe Antonio Brown moves out of the first round. I believe he's more of a,
late second round.
I would say beginning to middle.
If I have a top 3 pick, I'm excited to get him at that 2-3 turn.
I don't think it gets.
Because I think I think it's possible. I think some people are that down.
I mean, I think that would be
ideal.
That would be a gold mine.
Yeah,
I think it's
best
possible.
case scenario.
I think it's very possible.
I mean, I think he's going to be early second round.
I mean,
honestly, He might be one of the targets for anybody who wants to go a double wide receiver strat.
I think the only reason that happens,
Antonio Brown.
The only reason that would happen is if you have a silly Raiders fan in your league.
No,
I don't think anyone that's not a Raiders fan is that high on him.
But why? Because look at what David Carr did with Amari Cooper a couple years ago. I mean, Carr can be a good
David Carr was terrible with Amari Cooper a couple years ago.
No, the
3 years ago.
3 years ago. 3 years
David Carr is not in the league anymore.
Derek Carr. Derek Carr was a viable quarterback. He was in the MVP race a couple years ago. So there is the talent there.
To be. He did good that year.
We'll just see. He's never had and a talent like this. I mean, he's got two weapons.
Yeah,
I mean, Tyrell
but
Williams
look
is
how
a
good
big
Amari
target.
Cooper was with Dallas, and not even knowing their playbook, just going there mid-season. They never had Amari Cooper be that good.
He had a couple good weeks. That's what he brought to Dallas. It was a lot of quiet weeks.
What? He was phenomenal for Dallas.
He was good for
He was like a
Dallas. He
league
was
winner,
really
and no
good
one
for
expected
Dallas,
that too. Everyone thought Dallas was stupid considering Golden Tate was got for what, like a third-round pick, fourth-round
and
pick?
they gave a first,
And he did, you thought, wow, Dallas got ripped off. And look, they got their franchise wide receiver.
Again, Amari Cooper is also very young. So that when it comes to trading and first-round picks and trading, that's something that you're going to look at.
Yeah.
There's not the same thing.
Definitely
with
a big
drafting-
difference between Cole
trading
and Tate.
Antonio Brown, who has a massive contract.
Yeah, and he wanted to be paid even more than he was.
That's
Because he was a deal at his previous contract.
That's the one thing that scares me about the Raiders, is that even though they have a lot of picks, that's good for them, but they are throwing a lot of money as well.
Yeah.
I mean, signing, for example, Trent Brown, is he going to really be able the boost that they need? Trent Brown was 1 year wonder in New England. Was he great?
I
Yes.
thought he was drafted by New England. I had no idea until you told me before that he was actually a Niner and he was traded for nothing
He was
over
a
to them.
7th round pick in 2015 who had one very good season with New England.
Yeah.
We've seen it before where they play great in New England and then they go elsewhere. At the same time, with the Raiders that like to add, they are losing weapons. If they're not re-signing Jared Cook was a very good tight end and a weapon that you had to be aware of on the field.
Yeah, and he was the best he'd ever been on that team, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's a lot to take in. It's amazing that we're talking this much about the Raiders, but just remember, they have Mike Mayock, they have the inside source of everything draft now.
The main reason's 84, though.
84. Yeah, I guess.
He's the main reason we're talking about the Raiders.
Yeah.
Oh, he's the only reason. To
Yeah,
be
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, Tyrell Williams, nice signing. He's still going to be towards
Good
the
guy
end of a
opposite.
draft. Fantasy wide receiver. Same value as San Diego, I would say.
Yeah.
I don't think his value's changed much.
Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, considering that's a lot to talk about the Raiders, and with that, I think we got to wrap it up here.
Yeah.
Raiders, I think, we're excited. The fact that we're talking about him here in March, that's saying a lot. With that, fantasy underdogs, Oakland Raiders, Mike Mayock, Giants Dead Fish Walking, Dan Bellon. Thank you. Good night.